Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. The Stirling Ranges are my favorite place in the world. It's just about the only mountainous region we have here in our very flat state of Western Australia. Big mountains, epic views, and world-class hiking trails makes the Stirling Range National Park a must visit for any outdoor lover in Western Australia. In this video, we're going to go through all the major climbs in the Stirling Ranges, as well as everything else you need to know when you visit this beautiful national park. And make sure you guys stay to the end of the video because my favorite hike in Western Australia is located within the ranges, and I'll tell you all about that a bit later. Let's start with all the major climbable mountains within the Stirling Ranges. We'll start with the smallest and we'll work our way up to the tallest mountain you can climb. First up is TALYUBERLUP Peak at 783 meters above sea level. The trail to the summit of TALYUBERLUP Peak is a short 2.5 kilometer return that starts out relatively flat but gets steep and treacherous towards the top. It might be the smallest mountain in the Stirling Ranges that you can climb, but in my opinion, it's also one of the most fun. The summit is made up of massive rocks and a few little caves as well that you can explore and walk through as you reach the peak. I usually recommend sunrise as the time to climb for most mountains in the Stirling Ranges, but TALYUBERLUP Peak is a good option to climb during the middle of the day as the views will be just as epic and the extra light will help with the climb. Next up is Mount HASSELL at 847 meters above sea level. The climb to the top of HASSELL isn't too strenuous. It's a 4-kilometer return hike, and the trail is an interesting one with multiple false summits and a little bit of a rock climb towards the top. The summit of HASSELL itself towers up above its ridge and has great views of its big brother TOOLBRUNUP Peak. I would highly recommend tackling HASSELL at sunrise. It's a good mountain for your first sunrise hike because it's not too much of a challenge and you'll still get some of the best sunrise views in the whole of the Stirling Ranges. Next up is Mount Trio at 856 meters above sea level. In my opinion, Mount Trio is one of the easier climbs in the national park. The trail does start off pretty steep, but there are steps built into the trail and the trail does flatten out towards the top. It's only a 3-kilometer return, which makes for an easy day hike that you can get up in under an hour, no problems. You'll get amazing views of the Stirling Ridge in the east and the rest of the national park in the west from the summit of Mount Trio. My favorite time to climb Mount Trio is at sunset, as the sun will set behind a bunch of smaller peaks to the west, and it's an absolutely epic way to spend your afternoon. Up next is Mount MAGOG at 856 meters above sea level. Mount MAGOG is the most western peak of all the climbable mountains in the Stirling Ranges, and the trail is the longest at 6.6 kilometers return. The trail starts off with a steady incline before becoming increasingly steep towards the summit. Mount MAGOG might be the least hiked mountain of the major 6 climbable peaks in the Stirling Ranges, but it's absolutely worth a visit. You'll get spectacular 360 views at the summit, as well as an awesome look at neighbouring mountain TALYUBERLUP Peak. Next up is my personal favourite single climb in the ranges, TOOLBRUNUP Peak. This massive mountain comes in over 1,000 meters high at 1,052 meters above sea level. The trail is pretty hectic, although quite short at 4.4 kilometers, and the views at the top of TOOLBRUNUP are unrivaled. You'll get stunning 360 views at the surrounding mountains from hundreds of meters above, as well as the best view of the Stirling Ridge in the east from the summit of TOOLBRUNUP, which absolutely pops off at sunrise. The hike to the summit of Mount TOOLBRUNUP definitely isn't for the faint-hearted. At some points the trail is hard to follow and there's a lot of boulder hopping, rock scrambling and even some rock climbing towards the summit. If you're up for it though, Mount TOOLBRUNUP is one of the funnest climbs in WA and you'll get some of the best views possible. And the last of the 6 major climbable peaks is BLUFF KNOLL at 1,094 meters above sea level. BLUFF KNOLL is definitely the most popular mountain in Western Australia and a lot of you have probably climbed it before. The trail is roughly 6.4 kilometers long and the hike to the top is very accessible with stairs built into the trail all the way to the top. Sunrise is a popular time for hiking BLUFF KNOLL as you'll get some of the best views you could ever see. I saw this beautiful cloud waterfall a couple years ago and it's still one of the best experiences I've had in Western Australia. BLUFF KNOLL is also one of the only places you're going to see snow at least semi-regularly in Western Australia. I had the awesome privilege of seeing a really good snowfall a few weeks ago, which has been a highlight of all my experiences in the Stirling Ranges. So that's the 6 major climbs in Stirling Range National Park. I'm lucky enough to have done all 6 plenty of times. Let me know in the comments below how many you've done, and why not set a goal to climb all 6. They're all super fun climbs and it's something that you won't regret completing. Now for my favorite hike in the Stirling Ranges and the rest of Western Australia, the Stirling Ridge Walk. The Ridge Walk is a 30-kilometre trail that follows the Stirling Ridge from Ellens Peak to BLUFF Knoll. You'll pass over multiple other summits that can only be accessed on the Ridge Walk during the hike. The Stirling Ridge Walk is an advanced hike and not everyone is going to be capable of it. It's something to work towards if you have big aspirations for hiking here in Western Australia, and it's absolutely an unforgettable experience. Usually people will hike it over 2 or 3 days, which means they'll be camping up on top of the ridge. I did it recently with a group of friends in a single day. You can check that video up here or it'll be linked in the description below. If you want to get a little taste of what the Ridge Walk is like, make sure you check that out. So that's the hiking in the Stirling Range National Park, which is definitely what it's most known for. But if you aren't into hiking, the Stirling Ranges are home to a bunch of other awesome activities as well. During spring, there are countless wildflowers and other rare orchids that show up in the Stirling Ranges, some of which you won't be able to find anywhere else in the world. It's also just a great place for photography. Even if you don't want to summit the mountain, you'll get some unbelievable views from the roads and trails on the ground floor. And photographers come from all over to capture the special views that only the Stirling Ranges can offer. If you love camping, the Stirling Ranges are a pretty epic option as well. There are 2 main campsites, Mount Trio Bush Camp and Stirling Range Retreat. I love staying at Mount Trio Bush Camp. You'll get epic views of TOOLBRUNUP Peak and Mount Trio, and whichever campsite you stay at, even if you don't want to climb the mountains, you'll be camping in absolute paradise with some of the best views in WA. The Stirling Ranges are a fairly isolated national park. Amenities are few and far between. The closest fuel station is about a 15-minute drive away at MAGOG, and you won't get groceries within a half-an-hour drive. The closest place to buy food is at Narrandera or Mount Barker. Those both are about a 45-minute drive and you have access to an IGA in those towns. Albany, which is a much bigger city, has access to basically anything you want, and that's about a 60-minute drive away. That's it for this video, guys. Make sure you let me know your favorite adventure that you've had in the Stirling Range National Park in the comments below. I love to hear your stories of your mountain adventures. If you did enjoy this video or found it helpful, make sure you leave me a like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content just like this. I also have a Patreon profile if you wanted to support the channel further. For as little as $3 a month, you'll get access to a bunch of exclusive content, including articles, videos, and other cool stuff that you will only get on Patreon. As always, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.